Hello. There is absolutely zero rhyme or reason or method or excuse for what you're about to witness, but I am surrounded by literal stacks of books that were originally living like there on my shelves because it's time for a book haul. Yeah, I have no excuse. Let's just go. So hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name's Rebecca. I am probably going to change my channel name to Inconsistently Here, if that's even an option, because the last videos that I seriously posted were about 6 months ago at this point. Since then I have filmed something yesterday which will hopefully already be up, and I have a couple of other things in the works, so hopefully this is me being back and in true me fashion we have a book haul. For as long as I can remember, I've always done book hauls, always loved book hauls, always bought quicker than I can read, and no sooner had I ended my last book haul video had I bought books. We have easily like 50 books here, so let's just get cracking. If I don't mention a synopsis or anything or the reasons why I'm excited about them, it's because there's about 50 books here. There are hardbacks, paperbacks, special editions, gifts, holiday purchases, you name it, there's probably something in here that everyone will like. So if you do see something that you think I would really enjoy and you think I should bump up my list, please let me know in the comments down below and I will see what I can do. First off, I have the paperback version of Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition. So we've got the light pink on the top and the ombre spade edges on the bottom. I have no excuse, yeah. I also don't know where I'm going to put these, and I know a lot of these have stickers on them. Next book. A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. This is book 4 in the ACOTAR series, book 5 technically because of A Court of Frost and Starlight. I really need to read Wings and Ruin, so I bought this one in the hope that it would kick me into gear. It has not yet. Next one, you can tell how long I've had this on here. Earlier on in 2022, Danielle from Danny's Book World, who has now sadly deactivated her channel, which I'm gutted about because I love Danny so much, but I understand why she's done it. They were doing a read-along of the 6 Tudor Queen series. So I picked up the first one, Catherine of Aragon, the True Queen, because she was doing this with Emily Novell Reads and somebody else, and I can't remember who it was, but they were basically doing this read-along, and I was like, I'm going to take part, I'm going to do it. So I bought the book, haven't took part, haven't done it. Great. Next up we have The Creek by L.J. Ross. I bought The Creek and The Cove. They're both summer suspense mysteries. They're a little duology, and it's a little cosy summer mystery that I can't wait to sink my teeth into over the summer. Next summer. This summer. Yeah. We then have an Illumicrate bag. I feel like it's Christmas all over again. What's in here? Ah, okay, yeah. Book of Night by Holly Black. Why do I still have this in my possession? I've heard not great things about it. Why do I still have it? That'll be going up on Vinted later, I think. Next up we have The Lamplighters by Emma Stonix. This one I heard from, oh, who was it? Somebody had basically said they absolutely loved it. I think it was Victoria from What Victoria Read, had said they'd read it and enjoyed it, and I was like, I need it. It's a historical fiction, historical thriller, I think. So yeah, quite interesting. We then have Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. I apologise if I'm pronouncing that wrong. In a hardback edition, I got this second hand and I was very pleased with the price that I paid for it second hand, I'm not gonna lie. YA fantasy, it has been in book box. Yeah, I'm very impressed with how quick I'm flying through these. Anyway, right, so, there's things everywhere. Next up, I have a book that I was sent from the publisher way after it was published, and I don't remember requesting it, but I might have done, and that's Veil of Winter by Melanie Dickerson. This one was sent to me by HarperCollins, yeah, I thought so. And this one is a high fantasy. Oh my god, of course it's a fantasy. She's in the snow, she's wearing like Game of Thrones gear, and this was sold to me as similar to Game of Thrones, and it came out in June 2022, but I didn't receive it till like September, so there you go. Next up I have Watching You by Lisa Jewell. This is not the first Lisa Jewell book in this is the first, it's not the last Lisa Jewell book in this book haul, but Lisa Jewell, started reading them 2021, looking forward to reading more of them in 2023. I feel like I've already hauled this several times, but it's Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. Started reading it, it's more of a juvenile version of Game of Thrones. Very excited to get back into it in 2023. Don't fall. Next up I have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This one I'm even more excited to get to now that I've finished The Love Hypothesis earlier this year. Really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see where this takes us. I've heard it's basically a carbon copy, so who knows until I read it, not me. But yeah, we are flying. Next up I have one that I've actually read. Are you proud of me? It's Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. This one I read, I bought it on its release. I'm not gonna lie, I was really curious about it. It was getting hyped up again because of its series release on Netflix. So yeah, picked it up, really enjoyed it. For me, as a graphic novel novice, this is very easy to follow, very easy to read, and I think, yeah, it's cute. It's not without its dramas, not gonna lie, but I did really enjoy it. Next up we have Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I got this one second hand. It was meant to be in perfect condition. It very much is not, but that's by the by. I've already read this before and I'm just wanting to give it another shot. I then have Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I have some of the sequels and I'm pretty sure I bought this from the works, but I can't find it anywhere, so I picked myself up another copy. I really want to get into this. It's supposed to be really good, and it's 2009 Mythopoeic Award. This is all just chaos. Just chaos. Okay, so next up we have some books that I've got from Waterstones when I was in York. So yeah, let's just go. First one is Iron Widow by Zirin J. Zhao. This one, I've had this one a while in hardback, but I just didn't want to ruin it. So I'm quite interested in picking this one up. Raging Against the Patriarchy in spectacular style. I'm here for that, I'm not gonna lie. Next up we have one that I didn't think I would ever see in Waterstones, and it's just because I don't know why I didn't think I would see it, but here we go. It's Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. Trisha Levenseller is someone that I've been wanting to read for a while now, so when I seen this in Waterstones, I snapped it up. It is YA piracy. Retrieving an ancient hidden map, the key to a legendary treasure trove, conceal her considerable combat skills and allow herself to be captured by the enemies. So I'm guessing there's going to be enemies to lovers in this. I'm on board for that. So there are some duplicates in this book haul. This isn't one of them, but the next one after this is. We have Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco. This is the Waterstones edition, purely because my fairy edition was not here yet. And I really wanted to pick up Kingdom of the Cursed and then this one, and I just haven't. But 2023 is my year. I'm just saying. It's going to be my year for reading. Visit back in December when I haven't done any of it. But yes, this is book 3 in the Kingdom series. I believe it's just a trilogy now. I'm very excited about this one. I just loved the first one when I read it earlier in 2022. So yeah, book 3 is here. Next up, originally I went into Waterstones in York. 1, because I needed the toilet and they had a cafe, so I assumed they'd have a toilet. They did. And 2, because I wanted a Waterstones York tote bag. Did not get it. I still haven't got it. I've been twice more since then. However, I did pick up Wolfsong by TJ Klune, and this is the Waterstones Signed exclusive edition. Look at that. They had like 2 left on the table, so I picked the best looking one out of them. But look at the detail on this. How unreal is that? And then got the blue on the inside as well, and it contrasts nicely with the bright orange. I don't understand why people do the bright orange, but anyway, contrasts nicely with that. And like I said, it's the signed exclusive edition. All I know is this follows a young boy werewolf, and then there's some territorial wars, I think. But either way, there may be another copy of this coming up in this haul. Next up we have a Fairy Loot additional book, which is An Arrow to the Moon by Emily X.R. Pan. This was in one of my last Fairy Loot boxes. I've stopped getting them purely because they were a drain on my finances and I wasn't reading the books. So we'll see if I pick this one up. I mean, I doubt it, but we'll see. Another Waterstones delight was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This one is another Waterstones exclusive edition. Very shiny. It's got the blue sprayed edges, and it's got this lovely like map, but not map, like signposts inside, and it's got places in America in it. It is signed somewhere in this book. It is signed, and I remember Beth from Books Nest reading it and saying that they were really enjoying it when I was watching their vlogs. So hopefully I can get to this one soon too. Next up, another Lisa Jewell, and that is The Girls by Lisa Jewell. Yeah, don't need to say anymore, Lisa Jewell. Next up we have The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. This one I picked up on the back of really enjoying the appeal when I read it in 2021 over the Christmas break. Really enjoyed it, and then waited for this to come out in paperback because the hardback was quite skinny, so I didn't want to pay hardback prices for this. Got this one. Apparently it's completely standalone from the appeal, which is always good, so hopefully I can pick this one up and enjoy it soon. Next up we have one that I found on a deal. This was £3. This is Shooting Martha by David Thewlis. It is signed as well, and the only reason it was reduced is because it's a little bit scuffed. This is by David Thewlis. This is by Professor Lupin. My god, my brain. By Professor Lupin. And it's signed as well. It's a thriller. That's all I know about it, and it was £3, so it was an absolute steal anyway. Okay, next up we have this stack of books that I bought from someone at a car boot sale. Kind of nostalgia reasons really, for these three at least. So we have Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. We also have Inkspell and Ink Death. So my grandma bought me Inkheart years and years ago when it first came out, and I was just too dumb to read it as a preteen at the time. So I'd never really read it. And then I got rid of it, and then she passed away. And then I felt really guilty, and I was looking for these covers and I found them, hence buying them. Seen better days, but they're second hand. It's what car boot sales are all about, and I got these for £2, so can't really complain, can I? It's a book within a book, story series, that's all I know. I then had even further nostalgia. Since You've Been Gone and Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. These ones are in pretty good condition too, and I paid £1 for these too. Next up is a book that I bought myself, and I also bought Vanessa from Wonderness for her birthday as a joke, which backfired because she actually enjoyed the book overall. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This is a special edition, and I'm sorry, but because I kind of know the premise of this, it's like Avatar sex, but like the hair, that is not snow in her hair. Definitely not snow in her hair from what I've heard about this book. So yes, I am probably going to try and pick this up at some point this year. Not around family. But yeah, I'm going to try and pick this one up at some point this year, hopefully. Next up we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I paid £3 for this on Amazon on a deal of the day, and then it went into the works for £3, so I thought I got a really good steal because I got it early. This follows a ghostwriter who's meant to be writing about swoon-worthy romance novels under another author's name for them, but then has a bad breakup and loses all sense of that. She then finds out that her editor isn't going to give her a deadline extension. She then has to head home because she's basically not going to hit this deadline. She then sees a ghost at her front door, and I believe she falls in love with a ghost. Stranger things have happened, but she falls in love with a ghost. Next up, I thought I'd read this cute spooky book over Halloween and didn't. Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. Did not read this cutie spooky book over Halloween. I just didn't. Next up we have a hardback, which you will see a paperback of later on in this video, and that is Maggie O'Farrell's The Marriage Portrait. I picked this one up purely because of how pretty it is. Someone swore that as a little girl he once saw you touch a tiger, and that the tiger didn't harm you, it let you stroke it. It was always said that you had charmed the beast. Look at that. And look at that. I mean, they did have an absolutely beautiful naked hardback edition in Waterstones at the time. I opted for the coveted one because naked hardbacks give me the heebie-jeebies about ruining them. So yeah, there's this one. Next up is a one that is very, very high on my TBR for this year, and that is Timberdark by Darren Charlton. This is the sequel to Wranglestone, which I read early 2022 and absolutely loved. And look at these sprayed edges. I'm absolutely loving this because this is actually mirrored on this side as well. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. Really enjoyed Wranglestone. It is a male middle grade / early YA about a zombie apocalypse. It's marketed more as YA, to be honest. Really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this one just as much. Next up, every man and their dog seems to be hauling this one right now, and I might be hauling 2 copies, but that is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This one I bought in the hardback edition. It's dark academia. It's very pretty, and that's all I know. I have not read any of R.F. Kuang yet. The Cruel Prince is up there because it was supposed to be a reading challenge that I just have not finished. And I said The Cruel Prince and I meant The Poppy War. But it is on my list for next year, as is this one to read. Next up, another mystery parcel. Oh, this one's got very pretty okay, yeah. This one is We All Fall Down by Rose Zabo, and it's not even in straight. Again, I've stopped Luma Crate because, yeah, financial drains, such as life. Moving on. Next up we have another 2 absolute steals, the same car boot steal that I got the Inkheart series from, but on a different day. £1. A frickin' £1. Look at the edges. Look at the back. The complete Sherlock Holmes. Do I already have a copy? Yes. Is it a copy from 1910 or something like that? Also yes, so I'm scared to touch it. This was £1. Like, I mean, granted, the writing is absolutely minuscule. This one is in the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually physically read this edition. It's huge. It's a whopping like 1,000 pages of Sherlock Holmes for £1. And then, for the same price, I got My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, and this is in extremely good nick. I really read, of course I really read Rebecca, I wouldn't lie about that. I really enjoyed reading Rebecca when I read it, so hopefully I can pick this one up and really enjoy it too. Next up, we have Priv and Crush by Tracy Wolfe. New Age vampires, New Age Twilight, there we go. Really, but yeah. We then have All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. Now, I've heard a couple of dodgy things in the past about these two authors. I feel like I might be imagining that. All I know is that I tried to read The Devouring Brain, didn't really get through it very well. But this one is marketed as The Hunger Games. But evil, yeah, you fell in love with the victors of the Hunger Games, now prepare to meet the villains of the Blood Veil. Evil. Next up, we have a sequel. This is a Fairy Loot edition that I'm very happy to have in my hands, and that is These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is the sequel to These Hollow Vows, which I read and adored at the start of 2022 as well. Look at this. I love it so much. So yeah. It also has the little thank you for ordering card from them. It's signed by the author as well, with a pretty little stamp in the middle. It also has that. There we go. It also has reversed art on the dust jacket as well. But this one is the sequel to These Hollow Vows, and it follows two girls. One of them was sold to the fae. There you go. Where do we go from here? Next up, I have this bag of goodies. Late in 2022, I was given the opportunity to go to a friend's house after they'd lost a grandparent and go and basically rummage and ransack that grandparent's shelves, which I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity for, so thank you very much. I have 4 books here, but the first one is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, which is the one that I read originally, but I lent my sister my copy and haven't seen it since, I don't think. Or it might have been my mum. Either way, I don't have my original copy and I don't know where it is, so I asked if I could take this one. I then also have the paperback edition of The Institute by Stephen King. And then these two were recommendations for me from Vanessa over at Wonderness. This is The Crucifix Killer by Chris Carter, and we also have Susan Hill's The Risk of Darkness, which is a one that I believe Vanessa might have read. I don't quite remember. If you're watching this, Wonderness, please let me know. But thank you very, very much for giving me the opportunity to go and ransack your grandma's shelves. No doubt I will probably go and ransack your shelves one day. Not that I need to, because I have too many books, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Okay, we're getting into the juicy stuff now. So, first, Waterstones bag. At this point, I'm not even ashamed that I can't remember what I bought. I mean, I am, but I'm not. So the first one that I have is this was from Newcastle, by the way. We went to the Christmas markets in Newcastle and I couldn't not go into Waterstones. This was their last copy of this book. So I bought it because I was reading the first book in this series at the time and really, really enjoying it. And that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. Oh my god, I've just finished An Ember in the Ashes and I absolutely loved it. 100% can't wait to dive into this one. We then have Cursed by Marissa Meyer, which is the sequel to Gilded. I bought this because look at those edges. I'm a sucker for a good sprayed edge, and this is one of them. And then another one that was on the buy one get one half price was Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. The more you give the magic, the more it takes. So this is a breathtaking tale with a stunning magic system rooted deep in Chinese mythology and tea-making traditions. Love and magic overflow past the brim in this work of beauty. It sounds like the Great British Bake Off for tea, but with family drama, with poisonous tea. Yeah, and court politics. There's a lot to unpack in that book and I'm here for that, I'm not going to lie. Plus, actually, right, not even going to lie, look at that, it's stunning, and look at that, that's going to look beautiful on my shelves. And I'm so pleased I don't colour coordinate because there's about 6 different colours on there, but that looks beautiful. Okay, next up we have, let's go for holidays. So after doing the last book haul in like July, August time, we went away in November and in December, as I mentioned in my last video. So the airport exclusives happened, as they do. So there may be a couple of duplicates in here, as I do. I have 3 airport exclusives here. The first one is The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. This is the long-awaited sequel to The Family Upstairs. So I'm very, very happy to have this in my possession, and hopefully I will get to it this year, but I do also own the hardback for this one. We then have a book that you might have seen in this video, The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. I had every intention of picking this up and starting this on the plane and just didn't. I actually didn't. So yeah, there's this one. And then a sequel to a book that I have not read yet and have not hauled yet in this video, but I do have one to haul. The Atlas Paradox by Olivie Blake. This is the sequel to The Atlas 6. The Atlas 6 is one of my high priority books for 2023. So now I have this one, which matches the Waterstones hardback very nicely actually, and the Fairytale hardback very nicely. So yeah, very happy to have this one. Let's just haul it now. The Atlas 6, I bought this one in the airport with the intention of reading this one as a priority so that I could then read this one. Dark Academia, magical The Hunger Games basically is what I can tell. Here for that. Okay, I did some damage. We went to Dublin in December and I did some damage. We had a 20kg allowance on our suitcase. We only went for 4 days and it was bang on 20kg when we came home because I'd filled the remainder of our allowance up in books. Which, to be honest, I'm probably should be ashamed of, but I'm not, and that is purely because we went for my birthday. I was having a lovely time and lovely buying books time. So some of these are from the airport, some of these are from bookshops in, I was going to say Turkey, in Dublin, but the first one I have is from the airport, and that is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. I justified this by saying maybe I want to read a Christmas crime novel on the plane. It was a 45-minute flight and I took the love hypothesis. I was not reading the Christmas crime thriller on the plane. Definitely not. But the other one that I picked up in the airport as well is Fairytale by Stephen King in the airport paperback, which actually I thought I was really being good about and being smart about, thinking about buying the paperback. I then went to Dublin and their paperbacks are this size and they had this, so I was like, I could have literally went there and saved myself some money and bought it in one of the shops there. But yeah, anyway, Fairytale by Stephen King. This one sounds like it's more up my street from Stephen King. It's deviating more so away from his like It kind of era, so yeah, hopefully I enjoy this one. So over in Dublin, I don't know if anybody knows this, but in Dublin, obviously it's part of the EU, they don't have the branded stores that we have here. Well, they do, some of them they do. And essentially I came across their version of W.H. Smith, which is called Easton. That's how I see it anyway, and I bought 2 books. Bit of a giveaway what that one was. The first of these was Wolfsong by TJ Klune, purely because I knew I had the hardcover and I didn't want to wreck those pretty sprayed edges. And this was €17.99 in euros, so it was about £16. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy it because I would have paid that in the airport if they had it anyway. And it's a paperback, so it means I can tab it, I can take it around with me and don't have to worry about it getting battered and bruised. Yeah, very happy about that one. This next one, I mean, I haven't read anything by this author yet. I own their books, but I have not read them. Story of my life. 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This one is a thriller. It's a standalone thriller, which I'm really pleased about because I was kind of worried a little bit that I would end up getting like another series or a book in a series, and this was actually a standalone thriller. It was £11.99 instead of however much it normally is over there, but it was £11.99 in euros. And this is a standalone thriller about 6 people who go on a road trip. They get stranded in the middle of nowhere and it's set over an 8-hour time span, and there's a sniper. 5 Survive, I'm guessing. Kind of a giveaway, but yeah, I got those 2 in Eason's. I then found what can only be described as Irish Waterstones, which is Hodges Figgis, the bookstore. And yes, I did get this pretty tote bag, thank you for asking. There were a couple of options and I opted for this bag, purely because it was a lot more practical than the other one. But I got 2 books. I also have a bookmark of The Long Room from the Book of Kells as well. So yeah, we went to the Book of Kells. I've mentioned this in another video. It was a great time. Anyway, back to the books. So I picked up 2 books in Hodgstiggis purely because I thought if I'm going to be in Ireland, I want to buy an Irish writer's work. However, I did not like Normal People by Sally Rooney. I already have her newest release. Is it her newest release? The other one, I have one of them to try again because, you know, second chance and all that. But I thought I'd go with the one that I really, really appreciated reading when I was at school. So I was like 14 at the time, and my English teacher made us read The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas and then watch the film. So I went with All the Broken Places by John Boyne. This is the sequel to The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, and it follows 91-year-old Gretel, who's lived in the same mansion block in London for decades, leading a comfortable, quiet life despite her dark and disturbing past. Her father is one of the most notorious commandants in the Nazi camps, and I'm putting 2 and 2 together and thinking this follows Hugo, which is the young boy, I believe, in the first one, following his sister, and a young family move into the apartment below, and it's all about connecting with that young family and the young children they have, and I'm expecting, because I cried at The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas and I still do. The other one that I have, I know, you're probably thinking, Rebecca, you've literally just hauled that one. I know. It was the last one because I was thinking about getting 2 and putting one of them away for Christmas for Vanessa. But Vanessa already has 3 copies of this book, I think, so she doesn't need a 4th. And they only had 1 copy left, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, getting it for myself. Look at it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so stay. Right. That is the holiday books done. I am very, very close to the end, you'll be all pleased to know. So close yet so far. So, what do I have? So I have a handful of books here. I also have this one. One of the things I couldn't not help myself to is City of Last Chances by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I am a sucker for Adrian Tchaikovsky's sci-fi. That's it, that is the story. There's always been a darkness to Ilmar, but never more so than now. The city chafes under the heavy hand of the Palestinian occupation, the chokehold of its criminal underworld, the weight of its factory owners, the weight of its wretched poor, and the burden of its ancient curse. What will be the spark that lights the conflagration? Ilmar, some say, is the worst place in the world and the gateway to 1,000 worst places. Ilmar, city of long shadows, city of bad decisions, and city of last chances. So this is delving away from sci-fi and going straight back into fantasy, which I'm really happy about because this sounds like it could potentially compete with some of the books that I've already hauled in this video. So hopefully I can get to this one this year and really enjoy it as well. Next up, I have a one that I got a weird email from Every, which is former Hermes. They emailed me and said a parcel was on the way, and I was like, am I being scammed? Because I haven't ordered a thing, I don't know where it's from, what is the crack-a-lackin'? So, turns out I wasn't the only one that got this weird email, and I found a few people on Twitter who were the same. Turns out it was from HarperCollins, and it is Mistress by Nadine Brandes. Nadine Brandes wrote Romanov, I believe, and this is a YA fantasy, I think. It was so long ago that I asked about this and requested this that I can't actually remember what it's about. So her tears grant wishes, her next tear will end her life. And it looks like it's got the whole yin and yang and good versus evil, or, you know, sun versus snow, if you want to think of it that way. So it looks like it's got opposing forces of nature on the front cover as well. So yeah, intrigued about this one. Don't know when I'll get to it because, to be honest, they took that long getting it to me. I can't remember what it's about. Next up, I found out that The Works in the UK is quite a popular book/craft brand chain of stores, and they're popping up everywhere, and usually I'll get books when I go to one of the shopping retail parks, which is about 20 minutes from us, and I'll go into my local shopping centre, all that kind of stuff, and I'll go to the one where the Waterstones is. However, I come back from holiday in November and found that they'd opened one on the retail park of the industrial estate where I work. That is dangerous for my purse. Case in point, dangerous for my purse. So we have My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This was another one I'd seen doing the rounds on the Tickety Talk, so there's that one. And then we have two Colleen Hoovers. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned kind of like the highlights of 2022, and I mentioned about Colleen Hoover being somebody who is quite problematic in the grand scheme of things. I can't help but buy, I seen these two that were $5 each, and instead of $8.99, and I bought them purely because I want to try and do a Colleen Hoover reading vlog. However, I do understand that they are quite problematic. It's quite difficult to find these books second-hand in the UK, or at least it used to be before the backlist got massively published. So I thought for £5 each, I'm going to try them. So I got Slammed and Point of Retreat. I am aware that these are very heavily laden with abuse, I believe, potentially. And I'm sure, I don't know, I'm sure Slammed is about poetry. I might be wrong. But yes, I have another two Colleen Hoovers to add to my collection. I am going to try another two books from her maybe, and then if I don't enjoy them, I'll probably just get rid. But like I said, I really enjoyed Verity in my previous video, so yeah, I do appreciate and understand that Colleen Hoover is quite problematic, and where I can get them secondhand or cheaper, I do, purely because it means that less royalties go to the author, I believe. Oh, that's a very high tower. Okay, so we now have another two books. One of them I ordered online for release when it was double and triple points weekend in Waterstones. So I made a massive online order after going in the shop, which is where I bought A Torch Against the Night, I believe. I think it was that weekend. So yeah, I bought this one and I've since found out that it's 50% off, and so is the next one actually. So, Alone With You in the Ether, a love story by Olivie Blake. This is the Waterstones exclusive. I haven't had a chance to properly appreciate this yet because it came while I was at work. Dan put it on the bookshelf, and then Dan was organising the bookcase downstairs yesterday ahead of people coming tonight because shit show of shelves up here and downstairs was just a mess. And he opened the present to myself, so he's already seen this. But look at this. I'm loving the honeycomb effect that's been like sort of carried on from the sides, and it's lovely blue. It's a Waterstones exclusive, but I'm liking like the pale kind of theme with Olivie Blake's books. So like underneath this pale, as is the Atlas Paradox. Now, I know I don't like the pale coloured hardbacks, we've had this discussion before, but it doesn't mean I can't appreciate that they're pretty. This is a contemporary love story like no other. It allows us to explore the nature of love, what it means to be unwell, and how to face the facts of ourselves and still love as if we're not broken. I'm gonna cry. I already feel like I'm gonna cry as it is. I think this is just gonna set my emotions into overdrive. The next one I have is an autobiography. It's not the last one on this haul either, but it's a memoir from someone who is quite well known. They are quite famous for a TV show that they were in. I've just given it away. They were quite famous for a TV show that they were in, and turns out that they are the epitome of what you see on camera is a million worlds away from what that person really is like and what they're going through, and that is Matthew Perry's Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing, a memoir. And the foreword is by Lisa Kudrow, and I'm really looking forward to reading that, to see the insight of Lisa and, you know, see somebody else and how they perceived Matthew during his acting years in Friends. Matthew Perry was known for playing Chandler Bing. Chandler Bing is a trickster, a prankster, a little bit of a comedic effect in the series, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. And it turns out that Matthew Perry was actually going through a lot of alcoholic and substance abuse through his career. He's had some quite low points, addictions, that kind of thing, and it's all about him and him coping with the fame and the temptations that come with it and taking into those temptations, I believe. I think this is going to be a really like moving, eye-opening memoir. And I remember watching the Friends reunion that they did when it came out in 2020, I want to say. It was filmed in 2019 for the 25th anniversary of Friends. Yeah, it was quite emotional because there was a lot of it where you could tell that Matthew Perry wasn't quite there. He was there, but he wasn't, because it turns out, as he said in public before, he can't remember a lot of Friends because of the fact that he was going through a lot of things at that time with addiction and all that kind of thing. So for me, I'm quite intrigued to see how this is going to pan out in terms of where his journey has taken him and how he is now. So yeah, very excited to kind of go into this one and get a little bit more information about Matthew Perry. 3 more piles left. We have 3 more piles left. We have a bag from the Boxing Day sales with Waterstones. We have Christmas presents from family and Christmas presents from Vanessa as well. So let's go with the Christmas presents first. So Vanessa over at Wanderness is an absolute darling. We all know this, and I've said this probably 3 or 4 times in this video. Apologies for this video being long, but anyway, she got me 2 things. So one of them is a Fairytale book that she was getting rid of, and I was like, I'll have it. Saves me taking it on my wish list. And that is a beautiful edition of One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one, when she described it in her video, it just sounded really, really appealing to me, and she was unloading it and I said, yes, please. So yeah, I've got that one. The other one that she bought me 2 other books. She bought me You've Reached Sam by Justin Thau, I think it's called. I already have an edition of that, so I'm going to give my edition to my sister so that I can read the one that Vanessa bought me. But the other one she bought me, she was like, I don't want to buy you books because you've got loads, so here's a Waterstones voucher and here's some books. That was literally the gist of what it was. So she then also bought me Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is the woman who wrote... Did she write? No, she did not write the series that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the After series by Anna Todd, but this is the Twisted series. This is the first book in the Twisted series, and this follows Alex Volkov, who's a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. He's driven by a tragedy, he's forced to look at his best friend's sister. He starts to feel something in her chest. Ava is a free spirit trapped by the nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. She's never stopped seeing the beauty in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. Her brother's best friend, her neighbour, her saviour, and her downfall. It's a love that was never meant to happen. It's gonna happen. There's 3 books in this series, and I don't really know where they're gonna go, other than smut. But yes, thank you very much, Vanessa, for that present. I know that you tried to kind of go towards contemporary and things that I wouldn't typically read, and you're 100% right, so thank you very much for this one. So next up, whilst my family didn't necessarily buy me books as such, my in-laws did. My sister got me a houseplant embroidery kit, which I think will be cute to do and de-stress with, so thank you very much to my sister for that one. And then there was 3 books. One of them I've already started reading, and hopefully will have finished by the time this video goes live. But there are 3 books that I bought myself that I got my in-laws to gift me instead. Because they were like, we don't know what you want. 99% of the time, I just go buy books and then go, there you go, this is what I want. So the first one I have is Bunny by Mona Awad, purely because there's a lot of hype about this, and it's like a sorority, I believe. A sorority of rich girl writing buddies who call themselves bunnies, and I'm guessing that they're their ride or dies and something happens and someone dies. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm intrigued about this one. It's just very, very bright. And then the other autobiography that I've got is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Jeanette McCurdy is a childhood star from Nickelodeon. If you've seen iCarly, she's in that. She's in Cat and Sam as well with Ariana Grande. But Jeanette McCurdy is somebody who I've always kind of been intrigued by, because she was seen as like the tomboyish best friend on iCarly, the bit of a trickster, a bit of a prankster, and the same in Sam and Cat, because she kind of had a typecast kind of role because of that. But then it turns out that actually the reason behind all that is that she can still get cast in things. And there was a clip that I'd seen actually, and I think it was on TikTok. Jeanette McCurdy had said that her mum was making her eat certain foods or act certain ways and making her be younger than what she actually was to help her get roles, because she was one of the sole incomes in her home. And it was something that her parents and her family massively relied on. And then it kind of became something that she kind of felt responsible for. And then her mum died, and everything's kind of now, she doesn't speak to a lot of her family now. They've kind of cut her out, she's kind of cut them off kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be a whirlwind. I'm very intrigued. The last one that my in-laws bought me was The Satsuma Complex by Bob Mortimer. I'm currently in the middle of this one. I am 108 pages in, so I'm just about to start part 2. This one follows our main character, Craig, I want to say it's called Gary, he's not called Craig. This follows Gary, our main character, who lives alone. He basically has a very monotonous life and he has very little friends. One of the friends that he does have turns up dead, supposedly dead. He's kind of dealing with that and kind of investigating what actually went on, because he might not actually be dead and the police might not actually be the police. And he works in a solicitor's firm. So it's very much a he did this, he did that, I did this, I did that. He talks to squirrels. I am currently at the point where I don't believe a word of this. I do actually think that this is all in our character Gary's head. I think he's gone through some sort of psychotic breakdown or psychotic episode. And I don't believe that any of this is real. I don't know. But either way, it's Bob Mortimer and I was hoping it would be funny, and some of it is funny and some of it's funny as in like I can't believe that that's just been written. But yeah, so there's that one. That just leaves my Waterstones sale. This is all that's left from the humongous book haul. If anybody's been doing a count up, well done, because I haven't on purpose. So there it is. Six books in here. Oops. Anyway, the first one is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This was on buy one get one half price when I was in Waterstones getting a couple of other things. It is a signed edition as well. I was going to read this one. I mean, I would hope I was going to read this one. I was going to read this one for Christmas period. I am going into this a little bit dubious because Julie Murphy doesn't have the best representation for fat rep. So some of her work is perceived as kind of a bit bullying and not the greatest. So I'm kind of going into this with, you know, a little bit of hesitation. But it's a little meet cute, obviously, and it's set on film set. And I believe that it is following the lead character and co-star who kind of fall in love. Yeah, so there's that one. The other paperback that I got in this bag, I bought this one for Vanessa for Christmas and ended up buying myself it when I went back. Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a Never After novel. It is a retelling in the fantasy section of Peter Pan. It is smut, I believe. James wants to destroy Peter. Peter's 20-year-old daughter Wendy shows up in James's bar. He seduces her girl and uses her for revenge, supposedly. And then, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot to unpack in this novel. There's going to be a lot of smut as well. So, yes, Hooked by Emily McIntyre was the other one that I got in paperback. And then I got 4 hardbacks. I'm just going to grab them at random. The Atlas Paradox by Olivie Blake. Told you we'd be seeing it again. Purely because I already have the hardback edition of the Atlas 6. I have two. Do I have 2 editions or do I still have the one? Either way, I have the Waterstones edition of the Atlas 6 and this matches. So we've got that one. Next up we've got, let's do the Diddy one, because the Diddy one, I know what that is. This is the 3rd book in a series that I started in 2021, and that is Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the 3rd book in the Tales from the Coffee series, the first one being Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is basically about a magical coffee that takes you back in time to wherever you want to go. You just have to be back before the coffee gets cold. I found that very emotional, a lot to unpack, just an all-round emotive book. And I have the sequel to read, and now I have this one too, because it's more tales, and it's hard to describe without really like going into too much detail for spoiling it, but it's like a collection of short stories, each one being a different scenario from someone who's drank the coffee, so they all kind of intertwine and with the same kind of background characters. So yeah, excited for that one. The next one is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. This is Medusa's story. I've been eyeing this one up for my mother-in-law. She's not getting it. I got it for myself. Beautiful colour inside. But this is basically Medusa's story, being the sole mortal in a family of gods. She's the only one who experiences change and can't be hurt, and her mortal lifespan gives her an urgency that her family will never know. And then Poseidon commits an unforgivable act in the Temple of Athena. The goddess takes her revenge where she can, and Medusa is changed forever. Writhing snakes placed in her hair, and her gaze now turns any living creature to stone, and the power can't be controlled. She's condemned to a life of shadow and darkness until Perseus embarks on a quest to fetch the head of a Gorgon. So, that was quite a mouthful, but yes, I believe it's a bit of a twist of the original, I think. But yeah, excited, and it's very pretty. And the last one to round off this book haul is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. This one was in a book box. So it turns out that realistically I should have kept my book box subscription, but I did not. But like, yeah, as you'll have seen, I've got all these on half price, so it's not too bad. But yes, I got The Whispering Dark. It's a thriller, like a thriller fantasy. Something about someone turning up dead. And yeah, it gives off like thriller vibes. And there's skulls. There's skulls in the flowers. I didn't know that. Look at that, there's skulls in the flowers. A paranormal thriller laced with twists and revelations that will stop your heart. I think that is actually it. It's only took me like an hour and a half raw footage. Thank you all so much for making it this far. I literally have piles of books everywhere and now I need to try and put them on my shelves. But I think I'm just going to stack them back on my shelves kind of as they are for now. I have family due over in 2 hours for a New Year's Eve bash. I wanted to try and edit a video. That's not going to happen. And I wanted to try and get a little bit of reading done. And I also bought micro SD cards and now I can play Disney Dreamlight Valley. So yes, thank you all so much for watching this video. This concludes my humongous book haul. If anybody was counting, please let me know how many books there were in the comments down below, because I don't know and I don't really want to know. I reckon there's at least 50 here, but yes, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate the love. Hopefully this is the beginnings of some good stuff on my channel, and hopefully I can get some decent reading done this year. Fingers crossed for that. So like I said at the start of the video, if you've seen anything in this video that you think I should read, please do let me know in the comments down below what I should prioritise. I will then do my best to prioritise that. I am currently doing a 23 in 2023 challenge. Bob Mortimer's The Satsuma Complex is on there, so I'm kind of already kicking that challenge's butt, hopefully. Please let me know if you have any recommendations from this book haul with what I should pick up next, and hopefully I will do that. But thank you all so much for watching. If you head into the description box, be a link to all my social medias down below, as well as my Wax Melt website, which I need to get back into. But thank you all again so much for watching. If you've made it this far, leave a clock emoji in the description because of how long this has taken to do and how long this is going to take me to edit and how long this is going to take for you to watch. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I shall see you all soon in another video. Bye. No, like for real. There's literally like books everywhere. Send help.